Hello, it is I again. Trying to start every morning a little differently.
This is going down really good this morning.
It's funny, my matcha looks like it's slanted in the picture, but if I actually correct, it's leaning. Very interesting. Always something to amuse the mind.
Well, good, because you want to not get into overthinking. That's probably one of the biggest problems that we have, or we potentially have, when we've got so much time on our hands and for not doing things that
you overthink?
I can go into overthinking, yeah, for sure.
Matching shirts.
That's it? Oh,
yep.
my God.
We are matching shirts today.
That was not intentional.
Oh, my wife follows me around and matches clothing.
Yes, I do.
Actually, really what she does is I'll go looking for my clothing and either like there's boob stretch marks or something like bigger hips imprinted into my clothing or something, and I'm like, have you been wearing my clothes? No, I haven't.
You're lucky I don't wear your pants then.
I don't think you'd get into them. 28 waist.
Oh, yes, I know, right? So anyway, so one of the things we wanted to talk about this morning was a video that I posted about Mindy Peltz and how to re-emerge
from quarantine
into this more socially interactive world. And she did bring out some very, very good points, especially with regards to the people who have a tendency to get religious about their disinfecting.
Real religious?
Well,
I get really religious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. If you just tend to go more for the soap and water and whatever, that kind of washing the hands. But if you're into Cloroxing everything and hand sanitizing everything, then you could have a potential problem because you are killing the innate immune system, the innate good bacteria that we have that actually help us. In a sense, what you're doing is kind of what antibiotics. Remember when they gave antibiotics for everything? Didn't matter what it was. Oh, just throw an antibiotic at a person until it would strip us of these good bacteria. And you need to have both in order to function. So that was one really important piece that she talks about in her video. I highly recommend that people check it out. And she brings out some other good points too that are really important. So certainly your diet is really important. You can actually feed your microbiome, feed your gut health. And she said she has it down to the 3 P's. So she has polyphenols, which include green tea, and dark chocolate. See, some nice
the darkest and the least sweet.
Yeah, and you're lucky in Toronto because you can buy 100% chocolate bars. They are so good. I never thought I would ever.
Oh, Soma's is quite nice.
Soma has a really nice 100% chocolate bar. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it was
really, really good. Also berries, blueberries, raspberries, what other berries? Huckleberries, like whatever berries you can find.
Things. Actually, you know a good place to get a whole pile of prebiotics and probiotics is from Gideo, Bridget at Gideo, for chocolate and all the raw cacao and raw cacao products and a whole bunch of different dried berries and green powders and all kinds of good stuff. That's one good place if you don't want to move and you just want to mail order.
Yes, and Gideo's very good at mail order. Like we buy our chocolate from them.
This much.
Yeah.
Big piles.
Big, and cocoa So I really like them. Yeah, so that's your polyphenols. Your prebiotics include asparagus. What else are what are prebiotics? I'm trying to think right now. My brain a little bit sleepy. What else are the prebiotics, Damon? Brussels sprouts, those ones I don't care for. Now,
Cabbage.
oh yeah, cabbage. Certainly sauerkraut and kimchi. I know not everyone. I was never raised on
That's
sauerkraut.
probiotics, right?
They're probiotics, but
they also have a
they also have a prebiotic, so you can get a bit of both. I've come to really like kimchi a lot, and there's one that you had gotten. I can't.
Oh,
remember
it's the
the
live one.
Wow.
That restaurant live.
Yeah.
That's the most intense, amazing kimchi ever. It's got when you open the jar, it's got like a little kind of pop and a fizz.
Yeah.
Where you kind of go, oh, did I leave it too long or something? And it has a little warning on the top. I like a variety. I like to have some of the crunchier kimchis and sauerkrauts, but that one is by far the most potent.
Yeah.
I like having quite often having a dandelion mix as well.
I had a hard time with that
It's
one.
hard, but I mix it with other stuff so that it dilutes.
I did the same. I mixed it with the one that had the beets in it, and it was palatable. Eat your veggies. Anyway, lots and lots of veggies at this time. Green vegetables, really, really good. Load them in wherever you can. One of the easiest places, if you do eggs in the morning for breakfast, scrambled eggs, toss in a handful of chopped spinach or whatever greens you have. It's really easy, and then you have it already.
Yeah, most of us tend to dwindle on the greens if we're not focusing on it. I find anyways, and I have to kind of do a little upgrade every so often and just double check that I'm circulating new vegetables for variety and having a variety even in the day. Sometimes it's for me it's too easy to just be eating kale or just be eating broccoli or just be eating sort of one main asparagus or something, and then other things become kind of a little secondary variety pack or something. But it is a good thing to do, especially now that summer's starting to come. We should be.
Yeah, beautiful weather out. The sun is out. It's glorious. And speaking of that, you want to get some sun. Get out there. That's the best way to get your vitamin D.
And the perfect thing, especially in Toronto, I think it's probably ready now, climate-wise. If they're encouraged to be putting their hands in the soil.
Oh yeah, get your hands in the dirt.
You could be planting your seeds, or at least planting your seeds indoors, if you haven't already done that, and then spreading those and have them ready for going in your planters or whatever.
Yep. So yeah, definitely want to get out, get some fresh air. I mean, some places they're restricting people's movements in parks, which is fucked up, but if you can, be out in nature.
Restricting their movements? Wow. It's like motion in the ocean.
Yeah, forest bathing is a great way to take in the good bacteria through your breath, through the forest, the beautiful smells in the forest. When we were cleaning up the other day in the forest, oh, I love the smells of the resins. It was just like being in aromatherapy.
It was a full aromatherapy, and it was like fresh resins.
Yeah, and hearing the crunching
Spring.
and just being with yourself and nature. It's amazing. So definitely get your nature walks in there. Get your hands in the dirt.
Yeah, we've been really spoiled because, not being in the city, if we go out to shop, we may wash our hands on the way back. But generally speaking, if we go out anywhere, we don't wash our hands, or unless it was in the barn or something, we were washing our hands because of that. But we, every day is like every other day, unless we go to a store where then we'll wash. So I know when I was in Toronto the last time, it was right at the beginning of this whole thing, and everyone, was walking around. You could see trying to hold their hands at a memory length, and be aware, oh, did I touch my face? And, oh, what can I touch? And then I got to wash my hands again. Or, coming in and out of stores, people quite often have little squirt bottles ready for you. But the amount of focus it took to be aware, and the amount of hand washes in a day in the city was crazy. So I've been kind of spoiled out here. I just remind myself of what you guys must be going through daily, but it must be way more intense, because you kind of feel like when you walk into your house that, oh darn, I touched a whole bunch of things. Where did I touch? And now I got to wipe everything down. And that's a lot of work, a lot of focus. So we've been very spoiled, and we have our forest and our dogs and our chickens and our goats and things. So really, it's only conceptually that this whole thing's existing, really. But anyone in the city, they must be going through quite a tough time. Plus, of course, you don't have as much space indoors, and you don't have any of the space outdoors that you can just walk around. Like, we could walk through 100 and something acres and not come across a single person. And frankly, if we come across anyone, it's pretty easy to talk to someone at a 10-foot length or whatever across a fence, which kind of is about normal anyways. So someone's stopping in a truck or something and you're chatting to them on the side of the road, that kind of thing. So really, life hasn't changed out here at all. Maybe a bit of conversation, that's about it. And also out in, at least out in our area, getting close to Barry's Bay, I can't vouch for every area, but people out here are more sort of survivor types. Like, it's just average common sense out here to have your fridge and cupboards stocked with food in case the wintertime there's a power cut or something, or you get snowed in. So they're used to this kind of prep, just as a general rule of thumb. They're used to having extra firewood in case the winter's a bit harder on you. So they're kind of halfway acclimatized, or halfway ready for difficult times ahead. Having to grow your garden, that sort of thing. I mean, there's many people in the city as well, or just outside of the city, who are on top of those things, but not so much because they have to, but because they've chosen that as a lifestyle. And one thing that's interesting is my sister, who lives in Guelph, she goes to the Jesuit Center where you can rent a garden plot. In fact, she's been for years now sort of the caretaker. I don't know what the actual name is, but you trade helping out for a little bit of extra land to do your gardening. And but they've closed it all down. They're not going to let people do their gardening. And to me, these are the areas where, if you don't question what the hell is going on, it's not a matter of being a troublemaker.
Why should that matter if someone
there's no logic. In fact, that's illogic.
It's retarded.
100%. So there's a lot of this stuff going on. None of it makes sense. And I guess it's people following rules without questioning and thinking for themselves.
Yeah.
So someone legislated a thing and just said, okay, well, that's the way it is. So they're doing a petition to try and get their garden plots back. But
good for them.
Man, like crazy stuff. So we're very spoiled. We can stand outside. And I know I was talking to a local guy the other day, Daniel, and we were talking to him about whether he'd be into cutting and splitting our wood this year for next year's winter. And it was just a good example of a job out here, which is not going to stop you at all. In fact, it might even, it's probably something that someone from the city would wish that they could do. Just get outside into a big open space, fresh air, fresh water, good meal with you, and
heating.
Yeah, and just chop up a whole bunch of logs and split them and stack them. Like, that's a great exercise, great great oxygenation, everything. So out here, things just kind of lend well to these sort of situations. And everyone out here as well, I'm sure I'm exaggerating a bit, but people who've grown up here, they know how to tinker with their car. They know how to tinker with this and that and the other thing. Nothing really seems to faze them much.
Yeah.
There's kind of a, and I know I'm generalizing, but there's a kind of a just take it easy type of vibe that I'm sure someone from the city at first, rushing up for their cottage or whatever, they probably don't relate, and it would take years to get to know people enough where you can have this friendly banter conversation, to chat, joke around. And we've been here for coming on close to 5 years, and it's only now that we're really starting to get a feel for people, neighbors, local traffic, and like anywhere, there's a whole variety of people. There's no one type of person, just like there's no cityite is the term used out in the country for people in the city. And I mean, can you imagine if everyone in the city was exactly the same, just as a cartoon concept? It's pretty funny. And just the same out here, wide variety of people, but the tendency is that people, like women, don't flash their eyelids at the idea of picking up a chainsaw and cutting some wood or starting a generator to do something. It's just, probably half of them know how to drive tractors and things too. It's a different way of life and a different approach to life in general, and they enjoy their quiet and their seclusion and sort of small groups of people rather than big masses. And during this CV thing, and me noticing how well people dealt out here, and of course also how the environment, or how having 5 acres or whatever out further with a little more space lends quite well to not feeling the jolts as easily as if you were in the city, where you're so reliant upon what everyone does. I mean, the great thing about the city is you get that community effect.
Yes.
When and if you have it, which must be absolutely tremendous. But you still do get that here. People support each other. You just don't notice it in a crowd because you don't have one. But people are willing to help each other out in small towns, and it's when things get tough that you notice those things quite well. So just a thought from our perspective and our experience is it's not too shabby, living just outside of the city. So anyone that is contemplating the idea, or when they retire or what have you, it's not such a crazy idea. And for each person, it's going to be a different desire. Some people, it might be just living on the fringe. Some people, it would be living as far out as us, or other people would be living in Nunavut or something. Like, this is not far out. For people out here, this is not far out at all. And Thunder Bay might be a little bit further or something. But main point is, I think there's going to be a larger recirculation of people in the next 5 years or so, as people reevaluate and reconsider. Especially now, I think that there's probably going to be more job options staying at home, or at least staying at home more often for the time that you work. And with that happening, there's going to be more people moving out to their cottage, or using their cottage more, or considering moving a little bit out because they can work out of home. So I know even that alone, and then with this CV thing, just a different thought perspective, different values arise and other ones burn off. I know with us, we were hovering on coming back closer to the city, and we may still be, but we are thinking a little more seriously about what we love and appreciate out here, and what it has to offer us, what nature has to offer us, the beauty, community. Yeah. And of course, also, if you have a place out in nature, that idea that when someone comes to visit, who's not living in that kind of an environment, it's a special treat for
Special
them.
benefit for them too,
Yeah.
because they get a nice dose of nature.
Yeah.
Mostly sunny days, I would say.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky with the sun. Like even on an overcast day, it's not unusual to get bursts of sun shining for periods of time. Even when we check our weather app, I don't know why we bother checking that stupid thing. It's mostly wrong. It'll say overcast, it's cloudy all day, and I look outside the window and the sun is shining.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
Unless it's when it's the other way around, it's kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the most wonderful thing about all of this is the super unplanned, never could be planned
No.
dimension to all of this is that it is causing everyone to see things differently and value things in a different way, and reposition things in their value system. And that's pretty amazing. Like that is really amazing, even just for the sake of fresh new ways of thinking. Just wow, I'm thinking differently. We've got the spring. What a great time to kind of re-emerge back into reality. And did you really go into that much about all the prepping yourself for re-emerging? It is a really important thing. It was Raven that was going over this with me the other day. And it is a great thing that Dr. Mindy Peltz brought up, is that if we're locked away in a little germ-free environment for a couple of months,
Masks and gloves and disinfectant.
We have lowered our ability to, just like someone who's drinking coffee or smoking pot for a period of time, their resistance has gone down, and they're not feeling the caffeine as much. And you'd have to stop drinking coffee for a while before the caffeine affects you as much again. And you get that right perk that you like. So same thing with stopping yourself from being exposed to all these little invisible good things, is that when you eventually go out, your system's not going to be ready for it. And it would be, you'd be more vulnerable, I guess.
Well, this is it, and that's the risk of getting another flu or something else, whatever.
Or even that itself on the way out.
Yeah, it's just like, why put yourself, why not strengthen yourself? You have this opportunity, but the very things that we're being advised to do are actually non-beneficial. So you need to really sift through the info and make smarter choices for yourself.
And you don't have to care why there's a dissonance there with the messages you're getting. There's mixed messages and stuff. Like, if you're not into that kind of thing and figuring things out, it's not a necessary thing. You don't need to figure anything out. Some people have mentioned that to us. Oh, well, you guys like thinking about those things, but it's not necessary to go into all of that. It's just, you acknowledge something, you move on.
Yeah.
And the main thing is what benefits you, and how can you be the healthiest that you can in these times, especially. I mean, talk about making you more aware of yourself.
Yeah.
And more appreciative of, grateful of.
11/11.
What our bodies can
11
do.
your gratitude meditations.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are still keeping up with that, but it's a wonderful opportunity. 11/11. 11 in the morning, 11 at night. It's pretty easy to put on a guided meditation or do your own, like sit, whatever works best for you. Yeah. So that's really what I wanted to share this morning. I thought was really important, because we need to start thinking about re-emerging, people. We're almost at the end of this month. Okay. It's almost the end of April. And May 1st, May Day. Oh, May Day. Let's get back to it. Come on. Let's get ourselves healthy, healthier, happier, more grateful. move along.
Yeah.
Move forward.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times, great summer ahead.
Yeah, actually, for me, the spring and the autumn is my favorite time of the year up here.
Well, there's no bugs. That's
No
number
bugs.
one.
Yeah, and right now, like we get beautiful sunny days. It was glorious this morning. Walking the dogs this morning, it felt like we were in Sedona on a nice crispy morning. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And there's, as long as there's a little bit of snow on the ground, no bugs. And then I would say we're probably going to see some bugs sometime in mid to late May. And then it's buggy up until about July. And then it starts to slow down again. And then from mid-August all the way up until November, it's pretty glorious out here as well. Yeah. Winter is its own thing, but I've learned to make my peace with most of it.
It really doesn't bother me at all. I had to kind of go through my notebook, so to speak, and readdress everything that I liked and disliked about winter. And the largest piece that I don't like about winter up here is that we just have a lot of plowing needed to be done to function. So, and shoveling. So just with the long trails and paths and stuff that we have to maintain to get to the chickens, to get to the, to walk the dogs and stuff, gates to shovel out all the time. When it snows nonstop, it can get to be just such a, like, oh God, again? I just shoveled that and 5 minutes later it's full again. But if you didn't have such a large amount to shovel, it really isn't that big of a deal. And if you didn't have to get up and out or get the place ready for someone, if you could wake up and just go, I'm not even going to shovel myself out today. I'm just going to stay in the workshop and work on something. Winter is nothing out here. In fact, it's actually gorgeous. Then you can fully appreciate the wonders and the beauty and snowshoeing, and I guess if you're into it, skidooing and stuff. I've just never really been into the loud motor kind of sports, just because I appreciate the quieter aspects of winter. But I can for sure see the excitement and if you have a group of people together and they're all out, on their skidoos and they're going for a couple of days and staying at different motels and things and restaurants. That's pretty amazing, for sure.
We should say goodbye now.
We should say goodbye. It's getting up towards the 30-minute thing, so
have a beautiful sunny day. Get some sun today. Breathe it in.
Yeah.
If you can walk through a forest, do it. It's beautiful. Breathe everything that the forest has to offer you in.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to share a little video of themselves, how they're doing, just stick it in comments or something.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Gradually we'll build a full virtual chat thing. Soon we're going to interview someone.
Well, at some point,
well, right?
we're aiming to have Tim, our house nerd, come up here in mid-May.
And be interviewed?
No, but he can help us. He can help us figure out this live thing, if we can even do it. We're going to try to do a live thing, and maybe we can set up an interview with somebody. I'd love to interview Tom Ptolemy, see how he's doing, and others. Anyhow, ciao for now, folks.
Ciao for now. Yeah. Hey, see you guys. This is my favorite part I get to do. Man.